What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I haven't been making a lot of these lately. Whatever. That's fine. Please like and subscribe, and I'm so happy that you're here. I want to kind of talk about, it wasn't even that big an experience that I had yesterday, but I wanted to talk about it. Basically, I was in class, and I was in an acting class, and you know, after the end of we we do our scenes, and then the teacher asks us how we think we did, because you know, you have to be able to evaluate yourself. And you know, everyone had gone, and then like he kind of broke it down and was like, okay, this is like what you should have done. And so when he turned to me and said, okay, how do you think you did? I was like, well, I guess I sucked. And I said it in like a very flip way, like just kind of being funny. And like I've talked a bit about before on this channel, I do find it very liberating to just kind of like throw language out there, like throw those things out there, just say what's on my mind, to make it less significant, you know? So to just be like, well, I guess I suck, and to be totally okay with sucking, you know, is freeing to a certain extent, because I'm not carrying any shame about it. I'm fully embracing sucking. And that's also, I think, why I like the word. I like sucking. Okay, no, this is going to go someplace bad. But I like that word because it just sounds like it's so exaggerated, you know? It's just a funny word, and we're not going to go there, okay? We're not going to go there. Yeah. So I threw it out there, and then he was like, no, don't do that. And he really he's like, you don't suck. I'm just trying to show you choices, and I'm not saying that I'm right. I just was making a statement about how the scene works. And like, he really wanted to like hone it in that like, no, we don't say that we suck here. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying this word, okay? And it's weird because afterwards I almost felt embarrassed that I had been so hard on myself. You know, so I have noticed in the past that I have this tendency where I compound shame or blame or guilt, or I compound negativity on top of itself, which maybe isn't that unusual. So it's like, I'll feel bad about myself. I'll feel bad about something I did. And then I'll feel bad about feeling bad about it. And it just goes on and on and on until I have a tiramisu of this badness. So I kind of felt that after the class, and almost like I'm allowed, like I was just trying to be funny, and I guess like a bit defensive about it. But overnight, I had some time to think about this. And I don't know why I'm trying to defend my right to be down on myself. Especially because I rail against people who do this exact same thing. I'm like, can we please get over these people who are so human because they hate themselves too, you know? Yeah, I'm just over it. I don't think it's charming. I don't think it's attractive. Self-deprecating humor is I think a fun, like, you know, I hate comedians, male or female, who just talk about how gross or disgusting they are, or like horny or pathetic they are. You know, I think if they're able to tell a story that in some way they're like making fun of an aspect of themselves, but they still like know their true innate nobility, because we are all innately noble in a certain way. We all have like a certain self-respect. And I think, yes, don't take yourself seriously, but don't hate on yourself. Don't lose sight of who you really are and what you really are. So all that to say, like, self-esteem cannot be traded in, cannot be tossed aside just to make yourself more comfortable or likable. And oftentimes we do this. And we do this really mistakenly. I don't know if this is right. I like to like come up with these ideas and I'm like, well, I think that's why I do it. And of course that doesn't, talking about compounding interest, like figuring out why you do something isn't fixing the thing. Like, great, become aware of it, but then don't just be like, oh, well, I do this because of that, because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that. Because then you're just creating more of this hole that you have become aware of for yourself. So I wrote down, I don't even know what I was doing, but I had this like idea that I had to write down, and it was basically like, when am I going to stop being right about being wrong? And I've been doing that for years. And it's a stupid protection mechanism, because it's like, okay, I might be wrong in all these areas, but you know what? I'm going to be right about all the places I'm wrong. I can't be right about singing, or I can't be right about speaking my mind, or I can't be right about my level of intelligence or my abilities or any of that. But I can be right about knowing my place. And it's just like, you know what? That it's cheap. It's cheap and it's easy. It's an easy level of rightness. I would rather be right about something that actually took time and effort and ability to do than to just be right about how wrong I am. And so there's like this level, but then there's also the idea that like that others, if you stand in the middle of the road, you know, if you like take up space, if you believe in yourself, if you are like a friggin' superstar and you exhibit those qualities of a superstar that other people aren't going to be able to shine as brightly, that you're going to be taking something from them. That like if you tell a joke at the dinner table, other people can't tell the joke or something like that, you know? And it's just not true. You guys have nothing to do with one another. I mean, in a way, like we're all sympathetic to one another. But if you actually think of it like this little light of mine, like shining a light, you know, your light has nothing to do with someone else's light. Just because you're shining brightly does not mean that someone else can't shine brightly. And that has never, ever, ever been the case. Okay. And it might be that in the past, when someone was really outspoken, or, you know, that we like to tear people down because we're jealous and uncomfortable with the fact that they're living their dreams, that they're exhibiting all the things that we secretly want for ourselves. And so because we're not willing to step into that and have what we want, we just, in order to like justify our not taking up that space, we tear down the other people who are taking up that space. So I can see where the fear would come from, but I really want to believe that we're like moving away from that in society. And also that we're moving away because it has like those two sides, right? It has the side where the person on stage, the person in the center, the person who's like brightest or just friggin' amazing, gets cut down. And then there's also the positive side, which is like we aspire to be that, we like adulate that, we look up to that, we get something from those idols. We get like a certain amount of light that we're not willing to emit ourselves, right? So we just kind of like feed off that energy from that other person who's able to create that for themselves. So we get this like little siphoned bit, and we go, okay, I'm happy with that. So it has those two sides. But what I see happening more and more is that like superstardom and idols are actually going away. Not in a bad way. I just think we're moving more into the phenomenon of emergence, which is like when a school of fish all move as one, or a flock of birds all move as one. So there's no leader. That's actually what I see happening more and more, and it's already started to happen because, well, yeah, obviously it's like started to happen. But with all these like subcategories of like, you can be famous in so many little niches now that it's kind of like lost its meaning. Like there's just so many talented people. There's so many talented people. There's so many funny people. There's so many smart people that less and less people are standing out in that really prominent way. And at the same time, everyone is standing out. And so leaders in that way where like you really stood apart from the group, it's kind of dissolving. And now we're all stepping into our leadership role, and we're all moving as one and shining a light way brighter than we were before, when we just needed that one person to do it. So, but for that to happen, everyone needs to start doing it. Everyone needs to like really live into themselves and know their worth, and stop cutting themselves down, because you're not benefiting anyone when you do that. When you say you suck, it's funny for like a moment, but in the long run, you've just lowered the level. You've lowered the level of quality. You've lowered yourself. And when you lower yourself, you lower the group as well. And we can't afford to do that anymore. And I can't afford to do that anymore. So I'm also making a promise to you. I did this a little while back where I stopped complaining. And I actually stopped complaining. It happens every once in a while, but I actually did it. And now, my new thing, I'm going to stop cutting myself down. I'm going to stop putting myself down in any way. And I might not be perfect out of the gate, because there's sneaky little ways to cut yourself down. But I'm going to stop doing that. Okay. I love you.